Your team doesn't need another boss.
Running a home service business is hard. So how is it that some people make it look so easy? Well, we'll tell you. This is the Freedom Blueprint Podcast. It's always good to hear the wins that successful contractors have. But have you ever thought that the best advice would be to hear about the speed bumps they encountered, the mistakes they've made along the way? We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. We want you to be successful and avoid the mistakes others have made. Let's get this party started. Welcome to the Freedom Blueprint Podcast. Now your host, Justin Deese.
They need a leader because a boss tells people what to do, but a leader shows them where to go. And if you want a team that takes ownership, steps up, and helps move your business forward, you can't lead with control alone. You have to lead in a way that earns respect and inspires people to bring their best. Welcome back to Freedom Blueprint Podcast. This is your Freedom Fuel, short, powerful episodes to help you lead better, grow faster, and keep crushing it. So listen, today we're talking about your team doesn't need a boss. They need this instead. A lot of owners and managers in the home service space are working hard, carrying pressure, and trying to get the most out of their team. But many of them are leading from stress instead of leading from intention. And when that happens, the team feels it. Here's the truth. The way you lead shapes everything. It shapes culture, it shapes morale, it shapes accountability, it shapes retention, and it shapes performance. If your team only responds when you're watching, that's not leadership. That's supervision. If your team only moves when pressure is high, that's not ownership. That's fear-based performance. Great businesses are not built by people doing the minimum because they don't want to get in trouble. Great businesses are built by people who care, who believe in the mission, and who feel like what they do matters. That kind of environment doesn't happen because you have a title. It happens because you lead well. So today, I want to walk you through 3 quick truths that will help you stop being the boss your team tolerates and start being the leader your team wants to follow. Here's the first truth. Authority and leadership are not the same thing. Authority comes with a position. Leadership comes with the person. Just because you're the owner, the manager, or the service manager doesn't automatically make people want to trust you, respect you, or want to follow you. A boss says, do it because I said so. A leader says, here's where we're going. Here's why it matters, and I'm going to help you get there. Now look, there's a place for authority. Businesses need structure. Teams need standards. Expectations matter. But if all you have is authority, you'll get short-term compliance without long-term commitment. People will do enough to stay out of trouble, but they won't give it their best. If you're always reminding, pushing, correcting, and pulling people forward, it may not be a people problem. It may be a leadership problem. That's a tough truth, but a powerful one. Because the moment you stop asking, why don't they do better, and start asking, how can I lead better, everything changes. Truth number 2, respect beats fear every time. Some leaders still think fear gets results. And yes, fear can get movement for a little while. Fear can make people hustle when you walk in a room. Fear can make people say yes in the moment. But fear has a ceiling. Fear doesn't create loyalty. Fear doesn't create trust. Fear doesn't create honest communication. In fact, fear usually creates the opposite. When people are afraid of the leader, they hide mistakes. They avoid hard conversations. They play it safe. And they stop bringing ideas. That kind of culture will cost you more than you realize. Respect is different. Respect says, yes, I know the standard is high, but I also know this leader cares about me. Respect says, I can be coached here. Respect says, this leader is consistent, honest, and worth following. The best leaders aren't soft. They don't lower the standards. They're strong but steady, direct but not demeaning. They hold the line, but in a way that builds people instead of breaking them. When your team respects you, they work hard, not because they fear you, but because they don't want to let the team down. That's a whole different level of leadership. Trust number 3. Great leaders inspire ownership. If you want your team to take ownership, you have to lead in a way that invites ownership. Ownership doesn't come from barking orders all day. It comes when people feel trusted, equipped, and connected to something bigger than themselves. Great leaders inspire ownership by doing a simple thing well. They communicate the why, not just what needs to happen, but why it matters. They give clarity. They coach instead of just criticize, developing people so it goes right next time. And they model what they expect, because the team will mirror your leadership more than they follow your words. And here's the big one. Great leaders actually let people carry responsibility. A lot of leaders say they want ownership, but they don't really allow it. They step in too quickly, they over-control, they redo everything. Then they wonder why the team doesn't take initiative. You can't ask people to own something you never truly hand over. Ownership requires room. Ownership requires trust. Ownership requires leaders that say, I believe you can handle this, and I'm here to support you. Here's what this looks like in real life. I've seen this play out over and over again in home service businesses. A leader gets frustrated because the team isn't stepping up, so they push harder, more pressure, more reminders, more control. But instead of getting better, the team gets tighter, quieter, and more disconnected. Why? Because pressure alone will never fix a leadership gap. Then something shifts. The leader starts having better conversations. They get clearer about expectations. They listen more. They stop leading from irritation and start leading from intention. They coach. They recognize wins. They correct without tearing people down. And suddenly, the team starts responding differently. Not overnight, but steadily. People speak up more. Ownership improves. The culture gets stronger. Performance follows. Because people respond to leadership. They just don't need someone standing over them. They need someone worth following. Here are your Freedom Fuel action steps this week. Ask yourself this question. Am I leading with authority, or am I leading in a way that earns trust and respect from my team? The second thing is identify one area where you may be managing through control instead of developing ownership. 3, have one intentional conversation with a team member this week that focuses on development, not just direction. Because what you see in your team may be showing you something about your leadership. Your team doesn't need to be managed harder. They need to be led better. That doesn't mean lowering standards. It means raising your leadership. When leadership gets stronger, culture gets stronger. When culture gets stronger, performance gets stronger. And when performance gets stronger, the business grows. Listen, thank you for joining me today on Freedom Fuel. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss future episodes, and share this with a fellow leader who needs to hear it. Until next time, keep leading, keep growing, and as always, keep crushing it.
You've been listening to the Freedom Blueprint Podcast. Information is useless if not applied. So take what you've learned and go and implement it. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find us on social media at Freedom Blueprint for Home Services and hit the website at www.freedomblueprintpodcast.com. See you next time.